started just rooting the feet onto your mat and then putting a little softness in the knees. Feeling the feet root on by pressing into them. And then loop the shoulders down and back. Crown of the head comes towards the ceiling. Shoulders drop down away from the ears. Arms can feel a little heavy. And then from there, close the eyes or bring the gaze down. Just settling onto your mat. Starting to connect with the breath. Observing the quality of your breath. And then gradually lengthening, deepening each breath. Filling the lungs, feeling the belly expand on the inhales. And then emptying out on the exhales. And notice where the breath is moving in the body in terms of, are the shoulders lifting? Are you feeling a little bit more height and length on the inhales? And that letting go on the exhales. And then take a few deeper breaths, maybe even moving the shoulders towards the ears on the inhales and an audible exhale. One more time. And then find that natural rhythm, that rhythm you'll easily maintain for the next 45 minutes. And once you've got that rhythmic ebb and flow, that natural ebb and flow of the breath, take a scan of your body from the crown of the head through the feet, noticing what's going on. Are there any areas that are going to require healing or modifications? And also appreciating the areas where you've got full range of motion, things are working well. And then take a few more breaths to set your intention. What brought you to your mat today? How will you move through this practice? And how will you approach the rest of your day? And you can keep the eyes closed or blink the eyes open or bring the gaze forward. And on the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead, thinking about tucking that rib cage in as you reach the arms up, taking a full body stretch, maybe adding a slight back bend, a look up at the ceiling. Big inhale here. Exhale, make sure the shoulders are right over the hips, and then drop the hands on top of the shoulders. We'll do a few elbow circles in one direction and in the other direction. Coming back to that center position, release the arms. And we're going to cross at the wrists as we sweep the arms up and over in front of us a few times. We're going to be doing a lot with the shoulders today. So right now I'm just warming up the shoulders. One more circle in this direction and reverse. One more in this direction. And then bring the arms, allow them to rest at your sides for a moment. And now we're going to bring the elbows right above the hips along your torso and act as if you have an imaginary stretchy band. And we're going to take the band, keeping the elbows glued to our sides, and act as if we're stretching that band apart and then slowly bringing it back together. This warms up the rotator cuffs, which will help with shoulder mobility and hopefully prevent any kind of injury, not necessarily from yoga, but anytime you're using the shoulders. One more time, opening that band, and then release the band, release the arms, shake them out. And then we'll go ahead and grab your strap or belt, whatever you've got. And we're going to use this as an extension of the arms. If at any point this feels like too much, go ahead and just put the strap away or toward, just put it off to the side. Take your strap and put it so that there's a little bit of tautness, but your hands are outside of your shoulders. Inhale to bring the strap just over the crown of the head. Exhale to bring the strap down. And again, we're just starting to warm up those shoulders. When you bring that strap back, see if each time you can go just a little bit further, as long as it feels okay on the arms and shoulders. Couple more times. Next time you bring that strap over the head, hold there. We're going to take an inhale with strap at center, and on the exhale, we'll fold over to one side. Inhale to center, fold over to the other side. Inhale to center, and we'll repeat this a few times. And you may want to play with where the strap is positioned. It can be just over the crown of the head, or if it feels okay, it can be behind the crown of the head. One more time to each side. And then we'll meet with the center, with the strap at the center. And we're going to bring the strap behind us by sliding our hands down the strap and then drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. We're going to go from here into a wide stance and then fold at the hips and bring that strap all the way down. Taking a breath or two here. And you may need to adjust the hands for the next thing we're going to do. You want to make sure there's a micro bend in the knees. You're not locking them out. From here, we're going to take that left hand and bring it towards the floor and reach up with that right arm, keeping the strap with a little bit of tautness in it. And then we'll alternate side to side. One more time to each side. And then come back to that center position. Take a big inhale to sweep that strap overhead. And then we're going to bring the strap to the back of the head, bringing the ends in front of you and tucking the chin. Little bit of pressure on the head. On an inhale, we're going to bring the head up, open up with the strap, kind of cradling the head with the strap. On the exhale, tuck the chin, bring that gaze down to the floor. So we'll do this a few times. And I found sometimes the strap slips a little bit. So just readjust as needed. One more time, tucking the chin, take a breath or two here.
What did I do wrong? Call me up.
Inhale to look up. And then we're gonna bring the strap in front of us. Neptune, I think you unmuted.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. And we're gonna keep that strap wide, and we're gonna turn the left toes to the top of the mat and put a bend in that left knee. So we're coming into warrior two, but with the strap. And just give yourself a breath or two to ease into this pose. The back foot, the right foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Left knee is pulling towards that left little toe. One more full breath here. And then we're going to straighten that front leg and tip into triangle with the strap. Inhale to come up, coming back to warrior two. And we'll do this a few times. So it's like a dancing warrior, but we've added the strap. And just working with the rhythm of your own breath. Next time you come back to warrior two, hold there. We're going to put or bring the hands a little closer together on the strap. And then we're going to turn the torso to the front of the mat and turn the back toes towards the front of the mat. You may need to adjust your stance. We're going to take an inhale to straighten the front leg, bring the strap overhead. And then on the exhale, put the bend back and the knee strap comes forward. We'll do this dynamically a few times. So now we've added a lot of balance to the poses. Next time you come into the bent knee position, hold there and slowly bring that strap all the way down to the mat and bring the right knee onto the mat. We're going to step the ball of the left foot onto the middle of the strap and then bring both ends of the strap into the left hand. Using that right hand for some stability, we're going to shift the hips back to come into a hamstring stretch. Trying to keep the hips in line with one another, bringing the toes towards the face. And blocks are a great thing to use right here. Taking a few breaths to ease in, trying to keep the length in the spine. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, we'll plant that left foot and release the strap and just put it off to the side, but make sure it's accessible. And then bring that left knee under the left hip to come into a table position. Checking in, wrist creases right under shoulders, fingers spread wide, tips of the fingers can be pressing into the mat, almost like a claw. Knees are right under hips. And then engage the low belly all the way through that small of the back. Before you drop the belly towards the mat, lift head, chest, tailbone. Inhale here, exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the upper back, crown of the head comes towards the mat. Starting to alternate between the cat and cow. Feeling those shoulder blades slide apart as you're arching the back, and feeling the shoulder blades slide towards each other when you come into the sway back. Couple more times to that neutral table position. We're going to walk the hands forward, press the hips back to come into child's pose. Knees can be wide, toes can be touching. You can bring the palms together over the crown of the head if you choose. And just comparing the two sides of the body as you're in this child's pose, noticing what's changed on each side. On the next inhale, slowly bring yourselves back to table. Bringing the knees under the hips, wagging the tail a couple times. Hips come towards the shoulders, looking over the shoulders towards the hips. And then come to a still table. And from here, we'll curl the toes under, maybe adding a hover with the knees as you press the heels back, getting a foot stretch, doing a little bit of strengthening. And then bring the hips up and back into your first down dog. Pedaling the feet a few times, easing into this. Keeping some softness in the knees. And then coming to a still down dog. Checking in, neck is right in line with the spine. Hips are up and back, slight tuck of the tailbone. Tops of the feet are drawing towards the shins. Softness in the knees. On an inhale, look forward. Step, jump, or walk the feet to a forward fold. Shaking everything out. Allowing the arms to dangle, maybe adding that sweep of the fingertips side to side. And then come back to a center position. Take an inhale to come halfway up. Slight tuck of the chin to keep length on the back of the neck. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, fold in. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead, bringing the palms together, and then drop the palms over the crown of the head. Upper arm stretch. Press the palms together, bringing them back towards the ceiling, and then bring the palms over the heart center. Breath or two here. Take one more inhale with fingertips facing up. And on the exhale, flip the fingers down, maybe pulling the wrists apart, keeping the tips together. Or if you've got that flexibility, press the wrists towards each other and relax the shoulders. Inhale to flip the fingers up. And on the exhale, release the hands. Go ahead and shake them out. And then make a fist with the hands. And we'll do a few circles in one direction and in the other direction. Bringing the hands back to stillness. And then go ahead and grab your strap again. And we'll do that sequence on the other side. We'll start in that warrior two pose. This time that right foot is coming towards the top of the mat. Left foot is at a 45-degree angle. And keep in mind, the strap is totally optional. You can do all of this without the strap. So just taking a breath or two to ease into this pose, making sure that right knee is pulling towards the right little toe, toes are in front of the knee. One more inhale here. One more exhale. On the next inhale, straighten that right leg, tip into triangle. Inhale to come back to the T position, knee bends. Few times, going with the pace of your own breath. And checking in with the hips, even though we're using the strap, we're still drawing that right hip back, left hip forward. One more time coming into triangle. And then the next time you come into that warrior two, we'll shorten the grip on the strap. Swivel the strap to the front, swivel the back toes to track straight. And then we'll start that bend and straighten. So inhale as you straighten the front leg, exhale to bend. Making sure that those low abdominals, those low belly muscles are engaged to support the back. Finding that focal point, because we're working into a little bit more balancing here. One more time, bringing the strap overhead. And then this time when you bring it in front of you, slowly bring it all the way down to the mat. Bringing that left knee onto the mat, stepping that right foot to the middle of the strap. The strap can come, both ends can come into the right hand, using that left hand for balance, maybe using your blocks here, and then come into your hamstring stretch. And you can play around with how close your hands are to that foot. You can play around with which hand the strap is in. But trying to keep the hips in line, breathing into the back of that right leg, getting all the length you can on that leg. Couple more breaths here. And then slowly plant that right foot, release the strap, keep it relatively close by, and then come back to table. You can wag the tail a couple times, just neutralizing the spine. And we'll meet back in a still table, fingers spread wide, curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back into down dog. Pedaling the feet a few more times, easing back in. And then we'll meet in a still down dog. Inhale to look forward, step, jump, or walk the feet to a forward fold. Again, shaking everything out. Inhale, halfway up, flat back, slight tuck of the chin. Scrunch the shoulders towards the ears, tuck the tailbone under as you roll the torso up to standing, and loop the shoulders down and back. Beautiful. Taking a breath or two here. And then we're going to come into a tree balance, rooting that right foot onto the mat. Bringing the left foot to the right ankle, calf, or thigh. Opening that left knee to the left side of the room, shifting the hips slightly back, finding your arm position, finding your focal point. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, release the pose. Go ahead and shake the legs out. And then come back to that neutral stance. Sweep the arms overhead. Big inhale here. Exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Shaking everything out. Inhale, halfway up. Scrunch the shoulders towards the ears again. Tuck the tailbone under, rolling the torso up. And this time, loop those shoulders forward and down. Coming to that still position, and we'll take our tree balance on the other side. Rooting that left leg onto the mat, right foot comes to left ankle, calf, or thigh. Think about shifting the hips slightly back. If the foot is sliding down, the right foot is sliding down the leg, press the left thigh into the right foot. Find your hand position, find your focal point. Relaxing head, neck, and shoulders. Beautiful. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, release the pose. Shake out the legs. Shake out the arms. And then step to the top of the mat if you're not already there. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. This time we're going to step back to plank, but bring the knees wide. Big toes together for an active child's pose. Couple breaths here. Maybe rolling your head side to side, the forehead side to side, or bringing those arms or hands over the crown of the head. Two more full breath cycles here. And then slowly release the pose, bringing yourselves back through a table position, putting a cross in the ankles, roll over the legs, and bring the legs out in front of you. And from here, just bring the hands right by the hips. We'll windshield wiper the knees side to side. Coming back to a center position, we're going to bring the right leg onto the diagonal, tucking that left foot to the inner right thigh. Grab your strap and bring the middle of the strap to the ball of the right foot. And just being mindful that the strap isn't putting pressure on the arch of the foot, then just find what's comfortable for a grip on the strap. You can actually bring your right forearm in front of or to the inside of the strap and grab it that way. We're going to be using this to get a little bit of leverage to fold in towards that right foot a little bit more. Once you've got your strap in position, sweep the left arm up and overhead towards that right foot. And just check in the twist that happens, and it's a subtle twist, should be coming from the low spine, working through the mid spine and then the upper spine. And just something to be aware of, check in with. There should be no torque on the back. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, release that left arm. Release the strap, and we'll change sides. Left leg on the diagonal, right foot tucks into the left thigh, bringing the strap onto the ball of the left foot, getting that length in the spine, finding what grip works for you on that strap, and just making sure there's a little softness in the hands when you're gripping the strap. And then sweep that right arm up and over. Two more breaths here. On the next inhale, release that right arm, release the strap. And we'll bring both legs on the diagonal, making sure the sitting bones are in contact with the mat, the spine is nice and tall. Sweep the arms overhead. Think about hinging from the hips and fold in. If you want a little bit more here, you can wrap the pointer and middle finger around the big toes, trying to bring the heart center towards the mat. It is always okay to have the knees bent. You want to make sure the knees aren't locked out. Take one more inhale here, one more exhale. On the next inhale, slowly roll the torso up. And then bring the soles of the feet together. The feet can be as close or far from the torso as you'd like. Wrap the fingers around the toes and fold in. Thinking about bringing the knees as close to the mat as is comfortable. Take one more full breath here. And then slowly bring the torso up. Scoop the knees together with the hands on the outside of the knees. Hands come by the hips. Windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then we'll come back to a center position. And we're going to come into boat pose with the strap. And again, this is totally optional. You can start by bringing the strap to the balls of both feet and then find your balance on your sitting bones, maybe keeping those legs bent Or if you want, you can straighten the legs, making sure the abdominals are engaged to protect the back, acting as if there is a string pulling the crown of the head to the wall and where the ceiling meet behind you. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, release the pose, planting the feet. You can release the strap, keeping it accessible. And then grab your giant imaginary beach ball, using this beach ball to come down one vertebra at a time. And once you're down, draw those knees in. You can rock side to side. You can make some small circles on that low spine. And we'll come back to a center position. And we're going to extend that left leg towards the ceiling, interlacing the fingers over the right calf. Point and flex the left foot. Rotate the ankle in one direction and in the other direction. Bringing that foot back to stillness. Slowly release that leg towards the mat, hovering a couple inches above the mat. Relaxing neck and shoulders. Big inhale here. On the exhale, release that left leg all the way down and bring the strap to the ball of the right foot. We're going to extend the leg either towards the ceiling or on the diagonal if that feels better. It's better to have the leg fully extended to get that stretch versus a bend in the knee. So just find where that works for you. Taking a breath or two to ease into this. Take one more inhale with that leg towards the ceiling or on the diagonal. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring that leg over to the left, maybe bringing the strap into the left hand, opening up with the right arm. If it's not comfortable to have that leg straight, you can always put a bend in the knee. We're looking for a stretch from the glute, the butt muscle, all the way through that back of the right leg. Shoulder blades are on the mat. Gaze can be up at the ceiling or over that right shoulder. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, slowly bring that leg through center. And we're going to open all the way up to the other side. Right leg coming to the right side. You can use the left hand on the left hip point to help secure those hips to the mat. And just notice where you can soften, where you can let go as you're in these more challenging stretches. One more inhale here. One more exhale. On the next inhale, bring that right leg back to center. Release the strap. Hug that knee in. And then slightly release the knee, bringing the hands to either side of it to guide that knee into a few circles in one direction and in the other direction. Bringing that knee back to center, and then we'll hug both knees in. Take an inhale to bring forehead to knees, and on the exhale, release head, neck, and shoulders. And we'll do that same thing on the other side, interlacing the fingers over the left calf, extending right leg towards the ceiling, point and flex a few times. Rotate the ankle in one direction and in the other direction. Bringing that right leg back to center. Slowly release that leg towards the mat, hovering a few inches above the mat. Using that left calf as leverage. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, release that right leg all the way down. Grab the strap, put it on the ball of the left foot, and then find that extension that works for you. maybe on the diagonal, maybe straight towards the ceiling. Noticing if this leg feels differently than the right leg. Couple more breaths here, just easing in. The more you flex those toes towards the face, the more intense that stretch will be on the back of the heel, the ankle, the Achilles tendon. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, we'll bring that left leg over to the right, maybe putting the bend in the knee, maybe keeping the leg straight. Shoulder blades are on the mat. Couple more breaths here. On the next inhale, slowly bring that left leg over to the left, maybe using that right hand on the right hip point, securing the leg, the hips onto the mat. Staying with the breath here. One more full breath. On the next inhale, bring that leg back to center. Put a bend in the knee. We are actually done with the strap for now. Hug the knee in. And then slightly release the knee, bringing the hands to either side of it. Few circles in one direction. And in the other direction. Bringing that knee back to center, hug it in, followed by the right knee, hug both knees in. And then we'll bring the knees wide, coming into happy baby. Grabbing ankles, arches, big toes, maybe rocking side to side. And we'll come back to a center position. Hug the knees in one last time. And from here, we'll come into final relaxation. If you'd like to grab an extra layer, now is a good time. And then when you're ready, you can bring the feet to the corners of the mat or bring the feet wide, allowing the knees to rest on one another. Arms come along your sides, palms facing up. Integrating everything we've done. Come back to the breath and take rest. Gradually bring more awareness into the body. Gently roll your head side to side. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, rotate wrists and ankles. And when you're ready, sweep the arms overhead to take a full body wake up stretch from the tips of the fingers all the way through the toes. And roll onto your side. Knees can be bent, legs can be extended. Gently make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes can be closed, gaze can be down. Sweep the arms overhead. Excuse me. And then bring the hands over the heart center, taking a few more deep cleansing breaths. Revisiting what your intention was. And taking a few more breaths to reflect on how you can cultivate more kindness and compassion for yourself as well as others. And I thank you for sharing this practice with each other and with me this morning. And may the light in me honor the light in each of you. Namaste.